Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Big O Nerd. The original OP is Mommy Text, posted to r/relationships October 21st, 2015. I, 39 female, am getting increasingly paranoid at my husband, 41 male, and his relationship with our daughters, 16 female, friend, 16 female. Throwaway account and names have been changed. This situation involves a few people: my husband Rick, myself, Sarah, our daughter Cass, and her friend Tina. Rick and I have been married for 19 years, and we have had a mostly happy marriage. We have one daughter, Cass, who has always been a loner. This year, Cass made some new friends. This was the first time she had real friends, so we were happy about it. These 4 girls started coming to our place after school, and on the weekend, they dress how teenage girls do: short shorts, tiny shirts, yoga pants, small dresses. I noticed that sometimes my husband's gaze would linger on them, but it was never more than a glance. I didn't know if I was seeing things or just being sensitive, so I let it go. In the summer, they started using our pool and hot tub. Again, I noticed that Rick would sit out on the deck to read a book. I never caught him watching them though, and he never stayed outside for more than a few minutes. I did notice that his office blinds stayed open and his window looks over the pool. Again, I said nothing, because there wasn't anything except a feeling. Sometime during the summer, the girls got really friendly with him and started to call him by his first name. One girl, Tina, was especially friendly. Tina has shown up at her house when Cass isn't even home yet. She says she doesn't mind waiting, and she plops right down next to Rick and tries to chat him up. Either he doesn't notice or he pretends not to notice. She bounces around him in her skimpy outfits, and he seems oblivious, but I know Rick isn't stupid. Last week, she missed her school bus, so she asked Rick to drive her. When he agreed, she gave him a giant hug, the kind where you hang off the person, and it lasted a few seconds too long. Again, Rick seemed not to notice. The last straw, and the reason I'm posting this, is what happened on Saturday. I was walking in our hallway, and I heard her say to Rick, "Do you really think I'm beautiful?" Rick replied that he did, and she shouldn't ever forget it. I peeked in. She was sitting on the couch next to him. She hugged him again, and again, it lingered. Then she pranced out. When she saw me standing there, she averted her eyes and scrambled past me. This time, I asked Rick what that was about. He said simply, "You know teenagers and their self-esteem issues." I don't know what I should do, or if I should do anything. If I am wrong, I would be alienating my husband, my daughter, and throwing a wrench into her first real friendship. Too long didn't read. My husband and my daughter's friend are getting too close, and it makes me uncomfortable and paranoid. Comments. Data Fox. 1. Cass's friends are no longer allowed over when she isn't home. They can come back later. You can't just apply this rule to Tina alone. 2. Talk to your husband about boundaries that are getting crossed here. That could end up with potential legal trouble. Do not accuse him of cheating unless you have proof. This girl has a crush on him and probably some mental issues. 3. Next time, if she tries to pull it again, you drive her wherever, not your husband. Take this time to ask her more about herself. Change the focus to you being the confidant over time, as there might be something wrong at home. 4. Don't fret. I think you've witnessed enough red flags to fix the issue before it escalates. OP responds, "I feel like this is good advice. I don't want to come off like I'm calling him a pedo." User Ozogati comments, "I think telling a 16-year-old he thinks she's beautiful is in fact wildly inappropriate." OP responds, "That's what I thought too, but after I thought about it, I didn't hear the context of the conversation." User Destroyer 96 FBI comments, "I mean, married for 19 years, you can't just talk about it? I see all of these posts setting rules. If my girlfriend came up to me and started saying, 'You can't be here with X alone, you're not allowed to do this,' I would get upset. If you have a problem, use your words and figure it out. You let it get into your head that he in fact has a crush on this girl, you won't believe any different, even if he tells the opposite." OP responds, "Wow, you make a great point. I couldn't just tell Rick that he can't be alone with Tina, or anyone else for that matter. That makes it sound like I'm blaming him. I will try to talk to him and figure it out. Final update, the next day, October 22nd, 2015. Last night, Tina had dinner at ours. As she was leaving, she started passing out hugs. This time, when she went to Rick, he stopped her cold by stepping behind a chair and saying, "Good night, Tina!" This was noticeably strange. When Tina left, Cass asked Rick what that was about. Rick said he wanted a family meeting. So before I was able to say anything, Rick laid out some new ground rules for guests. None of the girls were allowed in the house when Cass wasn't home. None of the girls were allowed into his study. It was a short meeting, but that was it. Cass didn't really know what to make of it, but said, "Okay," and went back. Goddamn, sorry. I'm cackling because I'm relieved beyond belief. Cass didn't really know what to make of it, but said, "Okay," and went back up to her room. I prodded for more answers and I found out what had happened. It turns out that sometime during dinner, Tina tried to corner him in the hallway and kiss him. She told him that there was something she needed his help with, and she didn't want other people to overhear. When he got close enough, she tried to kiss him. When he stopped her, he made sure to stress that her lips never touched him. She tried to grab him inappropriately. At that point, he retreated back to the dinner table. At this point, I told him that I saw that Tina had a crush on him a while ago, and he should have set up boundaries long ago. He didn't see it. To him, that almost kiss came out of nowhere. He was freaking out a bit. So I finally asked him to go into more detail of why he said that she was beautiful that day. Turns out that she had come to him and said she needed to talk about something important. Rick suggested she talk to me, but Tina said that this was something only he could help her with, and it was a little bit embarrassing. So that Saturday, he met her in his office, and Rick said that Tina told him that the people at school hate her, and that she's ugly, and that she would die alone. That kind of stuff. She asked him if she is really ugly, and if she would die alone. He said that he can assure her that she won't die alone, and that she is a beautiful girl. And even if she wasn't, that doesn't mean she would die alone. Tina's response was, "Do you really think I'm beautiful?" And that is where I heard from. He said he was just trying to be supportive. He only thought of her like he would his own daughter. So it does make sense. Now that I know what's going on, I'm not sure if it's safe for Tina to be around at all. I just can't help but to think of the lies Tina could tell if we cut her out of our lives. That and Cass really loves her friend. Too long didn't read, talked with Rick, found out things got a lot worse. Comments. Dolomite 808. Honestly, I thought he was clueless when you posted your original post. I don't think most married middle-aged men would think that one of their daughter's friends could possibly be attracted to them. Glad to hear it ended up being okay, if a bit awkward. Opie responds, "Yeah, he was clueless. Up until the last second. What would it have looked like if I turned the corner and Rick was bent down and she was going in for a kiss? Rick is about 6'3" or so. For a kiss to even almost happen, it would have looked like he was leaning in for it." User StubToe33 comments, "Let's be glad that didn't happen, otherwise this would be a whole different update. Do you trust your husband enough though if that situation occurred? Would you believe him if he said it was a misunderstanding?" OP responds, "I want to say I do, but given my track record on jumping to conclusions, I am not confident." User Doughchild comments, "You might have to talk to Cass about it. Mother to daughter, mainly so she can see that you and Rick are a united front. You have communicated about it, and you are okay. And maybe she'll look for a new friend then. You don't have to tell Cass specific details, but you could tell her that Tina was inappropriate. Also, in how Cass approaches men, Tina might have told her about her adventures. I guess she could still be Cass's friend, but there needs to be a talk about boundaries and sexuality. Cass seems to be a bit forgotten in this situation, and Tina has caused trouble. Cass needs some attention and care." Opie responds, "I did forget about her a little bit, when she's going to be affected by this as much as anyone else. When she gets home, I plan on having a talk with her." I had to double check because this one felt eerily familiar. Turns out, nope, just another story that also has a middle-aged father dealing with one of his daughter's friends hitting on him. It is also worth mentioning there is a really good amount of the male population that is just completely oblivious to all and if any advances. I mean, in 99% of situations, someone could walk up to me and say, I want you. And my response would be, want me to what? Sorry, but I'm not really in the mood to do work right now. You can ask me tomorrow. And a lot of guys are just like that, completely oblivious, and OP's husband was probably one of them. Him blocking her off with the chair is just a cherry on top, though. That is such a, I have no idea how to navigate this situation. Please don't touch me. Good night, Tina. Get out. Also, massive kudos to the comment that kind of softly called OP out for like, hey, you guys have been married for 19 years, just talk with each other. Because yeah, Destroyer 96 FBI is 100% of the money. So many of Redditors are just jumping right to rules and boundaries without even having just a basic conversation first to be on the same page, or understand what's going on. I have noticed that the internet as a whole, and sometimes me included, will jump onto the bandwagon of just assume the worst, set boundaries immediately, move forward from there. When the husband didn't even really know what was going on. I mean, setting up those kind of boundaries is almost an accusation that he's complicit with her crush, and that would suck. You're just trying to be like a good guy and just treating Tina like a daughter / being like a father figure, and now it's, oh, you're being really creepy with her. We need to draw lines and boundaries around your behavior in case you do something illegal. Like, that would be suck to be hit with that accusation when you literally have no fucking idea what's going on. Also, in a situation like this, despite it being a decade ago, Tina really should have been checked up on, because her behavior makes me worry that something else is going on behind the scenes and it's causing this behavior. I don't know though, I just worry. This post was collected by Shark Ava, and their tagline is, you get what you pay for and Reddit is free. The original OP is ThrowRAVulture216, posted on r/relationship advice the 16th of January 2026. My 28 male, girlfriend 28 female is pregnant with twins. We had an argument today and she was mad and showed me a video on her phone sucking off her ex. Now what? My partner and I are on holiday for the long weekend. It'll be our last chance to go away before the babies come, so we headed off. 2 days in, we're having a fight. I'm upset, she's upset. She's upset that we aren't engaged yet. I have a plan to propose soon, not that I'd tell her, and saying all kinds of horrible things to me, like how she's unhappy and would leave me if she wasn't pregnant. Whenever we argue, which isn't often, she gets really mean and says awful things like this, which she doesn't mean and soon takes back. Anyway, she was upset, said the above, and also that we're done and she feels nothing for me, and she loved sucking off her ex, and that she watches a video of it to get herself off. Then proceeded to shove said video in my face. I left. I've been cheated on in every relationship, so it hurt really bad. She also knows that. I'm literally just shaking, just writing this, and it happened a solid 8 hours ago. She came and found me an hour after and apologized, said that it's only in her deleted folder. She doesn't really watch it, she just hadn't emptied the folder, and we tried to make the most of the rest of the day. I took her out to dinner, we had a good time and a nice meal, and it was a good date. The problem is, I can't get that brief 3 seconds of video out of my head. All day, every couple of minutes, it pops into my head. I hate it, and I keep seeing it. On the way to dinner, at dinner, on the way back, in the elevator, and we get back to the hotel and we're still having a relatively good time. We've both apologized and we're trying to move on. We're sitting on the couch and she tries to make a move. Video pops into my head, so I disconnect. She tried again a few minutes later. Video pops into my head. Disconnect. Happens a few times, then I say that I'm tired, I want to have a shower and go to bed. Shower. Video. Teeth. Video. Laying in bed. Video. I can't sleep. I'm rolled into a ball facing the wall trying to sleep. She comes in. I say goodnight and she rolls away and says goodnight. I tell her the issue I'm having. And now she's upset with me. Again. Because she shaved and put on a nice dress all for nothing. That I'm not giving her emotionally or physically what she needs. This is fucked. I'm out in the living room because we don't want to share the same bed. I love her, and she's pregnant with our first children, twins, 16 weeks, We spent the day shopping for prams and other baby items. I really want to spend my life with her, and she does too. Well, at least so she says. I have no clue how to deal with this situation. Advice in fixing this? Edits. Edit 1. To be clear, these kids are mine. We know that for certain. We have worked out exactly when they were conceived. It was only the two of us, and we were away on holiday at the time. Edit 2. Yes, she kicked me out for one night 8 months ago. We worked through that. At the time, she was still hurting from her ex and was scared to be with another guy. It was very late at night, and said ex lived over 12 hours away. Edit 3. I would not normally describe her as immature, quite the opposite really, and it's part of why I'm attracted to her in the first place. Granted, yes, her behavior in an argument is immature and childish. She's otherwise quite a responsible adult who frankly would make a great mother. Edit 4. This post really exploded. Thank you all for your input. It's very late, so I've stopped commenting, but I'm definitely reading. Thank you all again. P.S. A number of people with iPhones have commented that she must be either lying about the deleted folder or something more sinister. I didn't know they automatically delete after 30 days. It will certainly be a conversation point in our next interaction and calling her out on it. This definitely changes things. I simply assumed files stay there forever unless permanently deleted manually, like the recycling bin on a Windows PC. I don't own an iPhone. PPS. A number of people have suggested a pattern in an underlying mental disorder, pregnancy hormones having an effect, and the need for therapy. I think this is something to consider and would appreciate any trained advice. Edit 5. I can't sleep, and I'm still reading all your comments. Thank you. Some additional context might not go astray. We live in Queensland, Australia. It's currently 1:07 a.m. Yes, I'm tired. We've known each other since early high school, and we got together romantically like 11 months ago. A bit soon to have kids? Debatable. We both felt like we were ready, and it's what we wanted. Comments. Euphoric Escape 3741. There'd be no coming back from that for me. How long have y'all been together? Because I know for iPhones, the items in a deleted folder only last 30 days. So if it's been there all this time, that means she keeps recovering and then deleting it to keep it there. I'd be done. For her to show you that so mercilessly means she doesn't give a fuck about you. There's not going to be any way to get that video out of your head, and you're always going to be thinking about it whenever you're around her. Damage is done. It's time to let go because she's obviously still hung up on her ex if she has kept that video and gets herself off with it. Huge disrespect. User Stereo Divergent comments. Android keeps them in the trash for a max of 60 days, backed up files, and 30 days, non-backed up files. I see no reason the video should have still been there besides she lied about it being in there. User ThinAd9387 comments. You have more than the video to contend with. Your real problem is that she kept the video. And if she's willing to throw it in your face to hurt you, you better get a paternity test immediately after birth and back out of the proposal. It'll only get worse after you're married if she's doing that now. User Tainted Buttercup comments. The real problem isn't that she still had the video in her deleted videos folder, it was that she was so quick to get it and shove it in his face. What a cruel and ugly thing to do. Even in the angry moment, this crossed a line and can't be undone. I would not want to marry someone like that. User Only Video comments. Mate, if she has a video of her sucking her ex-boyfriend's cock at the ready, and she shoves her phone in your face while arguing with you, that's not the kind of person I would plan a life with. And I'm not even mad about the video itself. We all have a past, but the level of hurt that she's willing to inflict on you isn't something I would want a partner to be capable of. And that was her response to you not proposing marriage to her? Whoa. I can't believe you stuck around and went to dinner with her after that. Co-parent and be a great dad. User Hey Sandy Strange. I said it elsewhere, but I think her keeping that video of her ex is very problematic. Men who do the same, keep sexy photos and videos of exes as material, get called creepy and gross all the time. To me, Opie's girlfriend is the same. Her ex probably doesn't know she still has it and probably wouldn't like that she showed it to OP. It says a lot about her as a person. Update, 1 day later. Update 1. We had a reasonable, respectful conversation this morning and I explained how I felt. She apologized, admitted that she kept the video and a few other things in her hidden folder. She asked me if I wanted to delete them, and let me delete the whole folder. She also got me to delete her recently deleted folder. I believed her asking was purely so I could be certain, not to hurt me. and that she would have done it in front of me if I said no. We had a deeper conversation about each other's insecurities in the relationship. Neither of us are perfect, and she raised a few valid points as to a few little things that add up to make her unhappy. We're still talking, but we're taking a break right now. It's gotten a bit emotional, and we're still processing some of the things the other wants changed. I know I am easily capable of addressing her concerns, and I want to. She seems willing to address mine, and I think the gesture of her getting me to delete her hidden folder shows that. Comments. All is Lost 77. I'd highly recommend taking some serious time to reflect on marrying this young woman. Not only is that incredibly cruel, it's manipulative. And having a lot more experience than you, this type of behavior will most likely only get worse. The fact that she never had any time after her last relationship speaks volumes about your relationship. It's a very high probability you were just a rebound or a feel-good thing to either spite her ex or help her bruised ego. Or both. Never seriously date anyone fresh out of a relationship, especially one that went south. Sounds like you need to set some firm fucking boundaries and stick by them, all or nothing. Then some counseling before you get married. You do not want to waste the next 7 to 10 years of your life only to get beaten down and divorced. Take this as a warning, buddy. Choose wisely. I would say at a minimum for OP, if you really do want to proceed with a relationship with her, for one, to proceed with extreme caution, and two, require her to get therapy and potentially you as well, and maybe couples counseling. I know for me, I've dealt with an ex who would purposely say things in the heat of the moment that was meant to hurt, and they were true. They were things being held onto specifically to be used as ammunition, or just slipped out as a fuck it, not keeping the secret anymore, I'm going to do this to damage you because I know it will. It's not like OP stumbled upon an old forgotten video from her phone from a past relationship and is making a big deal out of it. This is someone who purposely went out of their way to cause harm, to attack insecurities, to potentially create new insecurities, and overall was just gross to do this. And the fact that it sounds as if this argument they had stemmed from her being upset that he hadn't proposed yet. If pursuing this relationship is something you really want, proceed with caution, because you're just signing up for more of these fights in the future, unless, of course, you guys get counseling and therapy and actually try to bridge these gaps, because these are very emotional reactions, and the commenter's right. These kind of reactions, they'll become more frequent, they'll become part of the argument cycle, and it'll be something where she'll learn that she can say these things, cause damage in the argument, and then just patch it up fine afterwards. You'll be finding that you guys will spend more time apologizing for the things said during the argument than the argument itself. And that's a question of, is that really a kind of relationship that you want to maintain? One where during an argument, rather than actually trying to get to the bottom and find a compromise or come to a consensus, instead it becomes about doing the maximum amount of damage to each other? Because that's not healthy, and that should definitely be looked at as a possibility for your future. And potentially the environment that your twins will be growing up in. What a fucking mess. This post was collected by Culture Inner 3316. Originally posted to r/babysitting by Sensitive Mango 7155. March 10th, 2026. Parents want to cut my pay by $5 an hour. Hi everyone, I'm 20 female, located in Southern California, and I've been babysitting for this family for 2 years now. I've been watching their 3 kids, 6 male, 5 male, and 3 female, 2 days a week, usually Tuesday and Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. They pay me $30 an hour. Well, Sunday night, they asked me to babysit for a date night, but when they paid me this afternoon, I noticed they gave me $25 less. When I texted, asking if they had made a mistake, the dad called me and told me he felt $30 an hour was a lot for 3 kids who he called self-sufficient. A 3-year-old is self-sufficient? He told me all they do is watch TV or play video games, and it's an easy job, but he still felt they were paying me too much. He felt $25 an hour was more appropriate to pay, and because I'm still in college, it was great money for a college student. He also mentioned how inflation was causing him to cut any unnecessary expenses. I'd like to add that I walk to their house after my classes, and they're okay with me bringing my puppy along with me, which has been great. That being said, I think a $5 an hour pay cut is too much. They live in a 6-bedroom house. I don't know how to approach the parents and say that I'm not okay with the pay cut. Commenter: They're treating you like a child, telling you how much pocket money you earn for your chores. Tell them that you're only willing to accept the agreed-upon rate. For the next booking, ask them to pay ahead of time, including the remaining fee they owe for this shit. That way, you're covered should they find another sitter. OP responds, yeah, he told me he talked to his friends and one of his friends pays their babysitter $20 an hour for their 3 kids, which he thought was a fair price. It felt like I was being talked down to. Commenter, does the mom know he paid you less? This sounds like a weird power move on his part. I would let her know about the incident. If she agrees, then you need to communicate with them that you will not accept less than the current rate of $30 an hour. You're already being underpaid in my opinion. Again, she might not know, and this is a weird move on his part, speaking from someone who works with a weird DB. I can only assume DB maybe means day babysitter. I'm not 100% sure though. OP responds, Mom is really nice, and when I first started it was $25 an hour, and she quickly changed it to $30, but Dad is a bit more in charge, and I don't think she would say or do anything. I've kind of noticed they make way for him for everything. Update, March 11th, 2026. Hi everyone, again, this is my update for my post from yesterday when I posted about one of my families wanting to cut my pay by $5. First, I'd like to say thank you to all the kind comments and great advice. I didn't expect my post to blow up the way it did. I'm grateful for all the support I was given. I'm sorry I couldn't respond to everyone, but still, thank you to all who commented. Sorry ahead of time because my post might be a long one. Okay, so after my phone call with the dad, I decided to text the mom and ask her if everything was alright and ask why they wanted to cut my pay that much. She texted me back, saying it wasn't an easy decision, but ultimately her husband felt it was best to have a sit down with me and talk about my pay and what I'm doing as a babysitter. I told her I wasn't okay with the pay cut, and they owed me the $25 they didn't pay me for Sunday. Mom ended up Venmoing me the remaining $25 and asked if I could come in this morning to talk about my future with the family. Well, so I ended up going because Mom reassured me Dad wasn't around. I talked to her and told her I wasn't happy that they did that to me, and that I'm not going to babysit for them for $25 an hour when they have 3 kids. She told me she understood and was going to talk to her husband about it. Later that night, I went and babysat for another family in the same neighborhood as them. They're all friends, and I told that mom everything that had happened. She told me that the other mom tried looking for another babysitter and got quoted $60 an hour for the babysitting job, so she was pretty upset. Then that mom told me to tell them I've raised my rates due to the rising cost of living. I guess mom from the first family texted the other mom and asked if I was working for them, and the second mom said yes. Before I left, the first mom came over and asked if I was willing to make something work with her until she could work something out between us. The second mom then stepped in and said the going rate has changed and the babysitting rate for 3 kids was $50 an hour. The first mom said she felt it was too much money. I told her $30 an hour for 3 kids was too low, and she eventually caved in and we compromised at $45 an hour. Well, the dad, the one who wants to cut my pay, is gone on a business trip for 9 weeks, so the mom told me she would pay me $45 an hour in cash until he gets back. And then, once he's back, all 3 of us can sit down and figure out a new rate. I agreed to it, only because the dad wasn't going to be around. The first mom said she couldn't miss going to tennis or Wednesday night dinners, so she was thankful I was a reliable sitter. Now I have 9 weeks to find another job to fill in for Tuesday and Wednesday night work. I'm pretty happy with the outcome. I'm also really happy the other mom stepped in and stood by my corner when the first mom came over to talk to me. The mom I sat for tonight told me she would ask around and reassured me that it wouldn't be hard to fill in those days. I feel pretty good about that outcome and hope it all works out in the end. I have 1 more year of college, so I'm just hanging on until I can graduate. If you made it this far, thanks for reading. 6-bedroom house in SoCal. Going out for tennis and dinners, and that's why they need a babysitter. They're not getting a babysitter for work, they're just getting a babysitter for their extra activities, so it's not like they're bleeding cash or anything. I think the husband's just being cheap. Well, my kids are pretty much self-sufficient, a 6-year-old, 5-year-old, and 3-year-old. Also gotta love the fact that they went around asking for their babysitting services and found out that they were underpaying their babysitter by $30, and potentially had the audacity to either try to keep it at $25 or drop it to $25. Either way, that's scummy as hell. Also, kudos to the neighbor mom for just drawing the line right there and be like, oh no, The going rate is this, so cough up. And standing behind the babysitter, and also offering to help her find more work in case this family falls through. My guess would be, though, is the social pressure from the neighbors will probably whip them into shape and make them realize they shouldn't be underpaying the babysitter, because that's the kind of stuff that gets spread around through the neighborhood circles as neighborhood gossip, especially in neighborhoods like this. Also, it's extremely gross to change someone's working rate without telling them. Like, come on. Also, is it that much of a shock that a husband who's currently on a 9-week-long work trip would think that his kids are self-sufficient? Just saying. This post was collected by Schattenspringer, and their tagline is, "Waste of a read, literally no drama." The original OP is, "Dinosaurs are gay, like me." Posted to r/autism. October 20th, 23rd, 2024. I taught my autistic husband how to make pancakes, and he has been making pancakes nonstop for 4 days. Today, he has expanded into adding blueberries, chocolate chips, and strawberries into the pancakes. Comments from OP. Oh my god, I meant to put nonstop, not nonsense. That was the original title, I kind of auto-corrected it. Actually, I'm the house husband because my husband runs his own business, doing his special interests of building things for people. Roofs, porches, kitchens, bathrooms, etc. People want to know how one man can do the work and better job of 12 men, and it is just autism. I love that my husband's autism food is always something cheap and easy to make thousands of. I fucking love having an autistic husband. I love how direct he is with me. If there's an issue in our relationship, he will directly tell me instead of beating around the bush and letting it get worse. I have learned that love comes in many forms. He doesn't tell me he loves me, he makes me pancakes, or gives me a really cool rock. Or he writes love letters because he's awful at verbally saying how he feels. Or he tells me a really odd fact about rhinos out of the blue. I know my husband genuinely loves me because I'm the only one he can make direct eye contact with. After somebody said posting like this gives hope that you can have a healthy relationship being autistic, one of my biggest pet peeves is people like me assuming that we don't have sex because my husband has autism. He is a fully grown adult man. He is not a child, and we do have sex. It has been a healthy 15 years of having sex. One of his special interests is me, and one of those subcategories is how to please me more and more. So it's been a very satisfying 15 years. And I like having sex or not having sex with him. I like the direct response. No, I don't want to have sex. Yes, I want to have sex. If he doesn't because he's tired or not in the mood, I know he's telling the truth and not lying to avoid a problem, or he's not saying yes to make me happy while secretly not enjoying it. I do hate when the ADHD kicks in and he's flipping positions every 10 seconds, and I feel like I'm in a WWE wrestling match. My husband feels like second nature to me. There's nothing really different about him. He just does things a little differently than me sometimes. It isn't hard to love someone with autism. Just learn how they prefer things and let them yap about their special interests. Update, October 28th, 2024, 5 days later. Our son loves dinosaurs, so after a couple of batches, my husband self-taught himself how to make pancakes shaped like dinosaurs. And they're coming in broad ranges of colors. Every morning our son draws him a different dinosaur to make, and my husband flawlessly copies it into pancakes. I have known this man for 15 years and he has never cooked one pancake. Yet, in a week and a half, he was making high-quality pancake art. My mom-in-law told me she had her son tested and he was perfectly normal. Normal people don't spend 5 hours Googling equipment for a hobby they pick up less than a week ago. Normal people don't go balls to the wall for a brand new hobby and get obsessive until they achieve perfection. You know, my husband is so bad at holding down a typical job. My in-laws would complain that my husband struggled holding down a simple high school job after school because he simply could not focus on one task. He will learn one task, grow bored of it, and then quit to chase the next interest. He actually runs his own company because he got tired of a typical job. He builds roofs or redesigns kitchens, baths, and beds. Or he does minor builds like furniture or children's toys. There are 2 people in his company, himself and me. My only job is answering the work phone because he hates talking to new clients. I love watching him work. He can go into a kitchen that needs remodeling and just stares at it. And then he comes back home and builds what he needs, goes back to the home, destroys the kitchen, and hangs up the new cabinets. Does he write anything down or measure anything? No. Why? Because the numbers are in my head. Same thing with the fucking pancakes. He doesn't use measuring cups because the pancakes tell me what they need. I swear next time his parents visit us, they're going to get a stack of autistic pancakes. Comments by OP! He is so much like his mom, she probably thinks he's normal because he acts so much like her. Both of them do things differently. Autism, ADHD, and OCD is what my husband is diagnosed with. Our doctor calls it extra spicy autism. I actually had to have a really difficult conversation with my mom, which she's still in denial, about the fact that just because the tests in the early 2000s said I didn't have autism doesn't mean that the criteria has since adapted and further expanded. Although that concept is something that she is very much in denial over, and is still a bit of a point of contention between us. She'll tell her mom's stories about how smart I was as a kid, but nowadays, hearing it as an adult, I'm like, wow, damn, the signs really were just there, weren't they? Oh, you're still here. Hi, welcome to the outro. Don't forget, use code KEYZ at checkout with Gamer Subs. They got caffeine-free, caffeine, and sleep aid, all of which I all very much do recommend and actively use on a semi-daily basis. I say semi-daily because I don't do the sleep aid every day, and caffeine-free is only when I want something sweet to sip on, but don't want to drink caffeine. Their merch is also super comfy. If you don't want to wear anime girls out in public, which is entirely understandable, they make really good lounging around the house shirts. Like, they're so comfy and so breathable and so stretchy. It's nice, all right? Plus, it's made out of that material where it always feels soft and stretchy and, doesn't feel dry to the touch. So if you have, sensory issues, big recommendation from me. Hey, some final housekeeping notes. Guess who actually has full control over the subreddit r/sanity check? I do. I've had it for a while now. I've just been trying to get it set up. So we might actually have, another judgment-style subreddit to take a peek at that could be audience submissions or hopefully eventually just a general public subreddit that, has some more, favorable ground rules and favors people being constructive over deconstructive in their responses. No idea when that subreddit will launch. Consequences has been going pretty well, and I'm very happy to see the amount of audience participation in that one. But yeah, I might end up doing a stream today on the gaming channel, so if that's something that tickles your fancy, keep an eye out for it. It's like a 50-50, I don't know, it just depends on how I'm feeling afterwards. So yeah, if just chilling into a gaming stream is something you're interested in, go subscribe to the gaming channel and turn notifications on. Anyways, beyond that, I'll catch y'all next time.